One way that we can solve a system of equations is by graphing, and that's what we are going to see in our first example here. See if I can focus that a little bit better. There we go. And I will call this example 1A, solving by graphing. All right, so I guess my directions are pretty straightforward here. I want to solve this system of equations by graphing, and here is my system of equations. X minus 2y equals 4, and y plus 3x equals 5. Okay, first of all, if I want to solve this by graphing, let's think about what form is easiest to graph in. As far as linear functions, we learned in Algebra 1 something called point-slope form, slope-intercept form, and standard form. And slope-intercept form is going to be the easiest, y equals mx plus b. So both of these equations, let's start off by getting y by itself. And in my first equation here, I'm going to bring this out over to the side. X minus 2y equals 4. I notice that my y is negative, and it really doesn't matter what order you do things, but since my y value is negative, I'm just going to add 2y to both sides. Then subtract 4. And divide both sides by 2. Something to be careful with too, once you're dividing both sides by 2, remember it's the whole side that gets divided by 2. So this becomes 1/2 x minus 2 equals y. Okay, now let's go through a similar process with our other equation, y equals 3x plus 5. This one's actually pretty darn close to slope-intercept form already. Getting the y by itself, y equals mx plus b. Let's move this 3x over. Negative 3x plus 5. And you could say 5 minus 3x. Same thing. This just looks a little bit more like our y equals mx plus b form. All right. Solving by graphing, I need to graph both of my lines here and find where they intersect. So I'm going to add that down here too, that the solution is where the lines intersect. And also just a little bit of general information here in case you don't really remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And remember in that slope-intercept form, m tells us our slope, b tells us our y-intercept. Okay, let's graph our equations here. And I'll graph my y equals negative 3x plus 5 in red, and then my y equals 1/2 x minus 2 in green. So you can tell the differences on here too. All right, y equals negative 3x plus 5. 5 is my y-intercept, so I want to start there on my graph. And then my slope is negative 3, so I go down 3 and over 1. Do that a few times, just so we get a good idea of some points that are there. When we're solving by graphing, it's really important to use a straight edge so we get an accurate picture. And then we also have to graph the y equals 1/2 x minus 2. Be careful that that sign goes with the number, so our y-intercept is really -2. And our slope is 1/2, so up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. And we connect our dots. Okay, and our graphs intersect at this nice point right here, 2, -1, and 2, -1 is our solution.